Sinclair Heating and Cooling for 24/7 comfort on call.
Well, it's Monday. We get to welcome back Brad. And who's your friend?
Well, enemy, actually. It's an enemy, okay. Today we're going to talk about smallpox, which nobody talks about it anymore, and there's a reason, okay? But first of all, let's take a look over here because I have some interesting facts. Smallpox, which is actually quasi-related to chickenpox and mpox, which previously was known as monkeypox. But, you know, you don't feel well, you have a fever, you have this blister-like rash. But the problem with smallpox, it's much more serious, where 1 in 3 people who contract it die, okay? And in fact, last century, in the 1900s, killed 500 million people globally, okay? The good news, though, is this is one of the great success stories of vaccinations where globally, eradicated smallpox, gone by 1980. So it's been off the planet in most instances.
And look who's bringing it back, well, the topic back.
Well, that's why when I saw this story last night from Texas A&M, is smallpox still a threat? It's like, well, it's been gone off the planet for 40, 45 years. What are you even talking about? So here's what they say. The U.S. and the global community at large should prepare for smallpox to make a return. This was a study that was just released. The study was called Future State of Smallpox Medical Countermeasures from the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine. It was essentially, this report was done by 20 professionals in this area, okay? But they said, you know, we learned a lot from the COVID-19 pandemic, what we did right, what we did wrong. We're still monitoring this ongoing mpox in multiple countries at this time. And we just think that we need to be prepared, better prepared, because smallpox could very likely come back, and maybe not the way you think, okay? There are 2 scenarios.
All right.
The first is through an accidental leak. There are only 2 laboratories that we know of on the planet that actually have collections of the virus. The workers in those facilities all have smallpox vaccines, so they can't, if they were ever exposed, bring it into the general public. But it is at the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Laboratory for Applied Microbiology in Russia, okay? So those are the known locations, okay? But here, this is the other one that makes you think and makes you feel a little uncomfortable. Through an act of terrorism or bioterrorism or germ warfare in war scenarios. And that's why many of our military personnel are also vaccinated. Okay, for protection. But look at this, Chris. This is what shocked me. There are enough publicly available genetic sequences. This is stuff you might find on the internet, okay? Of the virus to make it possible for the smallpox virus to be recreated, especially with the advance of synthetic biology and artificial intelligence. That's the one that makes you feel a little uneasy, and that's why one of the researchers says this. One little smallpox outbreak, from what we've learned with COVID, you're not going to control it. And that's why we need to, first of all, stay vigilant. You know, right now we have this measles outbreak in the United States.
Which we thought, for the most part,
measles, chickenpox, smallpox, monkeypox, it all looks very similar, but we need to make sure we know what we're seeing and be prepared to act.
All right. Welcome back, Brad, with the spy thriller espionage movie script there.
A little bit of a hint there.
All right, Brad, we'll see you tomorrow. Still